When we're asked to find the area of the sector of a circle, we're going to use a very similar proportion to what we had used when we found arc length, where we took a look at the whole circle and then divided or set up a proportion where we divided that by 360, the angle in a full circle, and then we matched it up to our slice, which we are now going to call sector. The only real difference with our proportion from arc length is we're now, since we're working with area, using pi r squared instead of 2 pi r. So everything else, though, is pretty much going to work out exactly the same. So let's take a look at this circle down here and find the area of the red sector first, and then I'll let you guys try the blue sector area on your own. So because I'm working with area, I'm using my sector proportion, which is pi r squared. So I know the radius is 8 this time, so I'm going to do pi times 8 squared, and divide that by 360. That's how many degrees there are in the total circle. I'm going to put that equal to x, the area of the red sector, and since the red sector has an angle of 70, I'll use that to finish out my proportion. Well, as we've discussed before, we can get exact and approximate answers, so I'm going to find the exact answer first, and then it's easy to find the approximate one if I need to do that as well. So I'll start with cross multiplying, so 360 times x is just 360x. And when I cross multiply the other way, because I'm going to be working with an exact answer first, I'm going to do all my work sort of around the pi, and just the pi is going to kind of come along for the ride and just get put on the answer. So I'm going to do 8 squared and get 64 and multiply that by 70. That gets me an answer of 4,480, and then I'm just going to slap a pi on the answer. It's just kind of along for the ride. To get x alone, the area of that sector, I'll now divide both sides by 360. And once again, ignore the pi. And just do 4,480 divided by 360. That gets me an exact area of the sector of 12.4 repeating, and then I'll put the pi symbol on to keep my answer exact. And then I always want to include labels. There were no labels given to me this time, so I'll just do units squared. If I want an approximate area of that sector, I'm going to replace pi with 3.14 and do the multiplication. So 12.4 repeating times 3.14 gets me an approximate sector area of 39.08 units squared. So there's my exact and approximate area of the sector. To find the area of the blue sector, I'll have you guys do that on your own in a second, but I'll get you guys started with it. There's a few ways that you could do it. Here's what I would probably do. Knowing that the angle of the red sector is 70, I should be able to find the angle of the blue sector because I know together they have to add up to 360. So subtracting 70 from 360 gets me an angle of 290 degrees for that blue sector. So following the example we just did, why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video and try to find the angle of that blue sector. If you want to let the video play through, my work will pop up, but I would use that just as a check on the answer. So go ahead and do that, and remember there are other ways you could do this, so if you think of another way to do it, try it and see if that works out as well. So there you go. Hopefully you guys came up with the same two answers. An exact area for the blue sector of 51.5 repeating pi units squared, or if I replace pi with 3.14, I get an approximate area of 161.88 units squared. And then finally, real quick for our application step, they say, suppose the red sector represents some land that we have. So let's go ahead and let's see, our area was about 39.08. I'll just use the approximate area, units squared for the red sector. It tells us it takes 5 minutes to mow 1 square unit of land. So how long would it take to mow the entire red sector? Well, if 1 unit is 5 minutes and I've got 39 square units of land, I need to multiply that by 5. Multiplying that by 5 gets me a time of about 195.4 minutes to mow that entire area.